Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Show and Spell. I hope that this broadcast comes out smoothly. Again, still getting used to working with the new streaming equipment, so I hope that I'm going live when I intend to go live. But that being said, thank you so much for your patience. And tonight I had a couple ideas of what to talk about. What I really chose to focus on, if you notice the captions for this particular live broadcast, again, through LightClub Curiosity Shop and the Chakra Witch. So what I want to do is do a little bit of teaching tonight, if that's okay. And a lot of times when we work on spell work, things like that, pointers that I want to give you, I want to make sure that I'm resonating with you. Sometimes when I say, okay, you can do a spell about this, you can do a spell about that, I'm not sure what level you're at. I'm not sure what you're interested in, but I'm going to bring up something into the mix tonight that I think everybody can work with on all levels. You can take it wherever you want to take it, and it's something very near and dear to my heart. When I taught my very first class through LightClub, I made a point to do it about this particular subject because I just feel that it's so versatile and it's something that anybody who gets into energy work should be used to working with. And that is the pendulum. Okay. There's so many different ways that you can use a pendulum. There's so many different options, not only how to use it, but what kind. Okay, it can be a lot easier to work with than you realize, and it can really fit into a lot of aspects of your life, just kind of helping not just with divination, but also with healing work, also with spell work, also with meditation. There's so many different ways that you can bring it in depending on what type of spiritual work you would like to do. So that's why I think this is a good choice for tonight, because it's basically it's kind of like the lavender of the herbal world. It works for just about everything. So thank you for joining us tonight. I'm so happy to see you. I love when the tribe all starts kind of greeting each other. Okay, I always look forward to seeing that in the comments. So that being said, I want to get right to work with Pendulum. Now, for those of you who have been working with one for a while, I might, a lot of this might sound like review, but I always do throw a bunch of things into the mix that only I do and perhaps you haven't thought of. For those of you who haven't worked with a pendulum or don't have one, doesn't matter. Okay, if you have, now I made a point tonight to actually wear a necklace because I also wanted to prove to you that you don't necessarily need to buy a pendulum, although I know of a store that carries some good ones in Sugarloaf. So, we do always have pendulums available. It was one of the very first things that we carried because this is something that I so strongly believe in to be a part of your spiritual toolbox. So if you decide you want to get one, okay, we'll go over how to use it, but first I want to kind of go over what exactly is it. Okay. Now, a pendulum is basically any weight that's on the end of an extension, on the end of a string. Okay. And that's why I was saying that, I made a point to wear a necklace, because if you look at it, this can work just the same as this. Okay. So if you tend to have a necklace on, that can always be in a pinch used the same way you would use a pendulum. The reason you want to get eventually, if you're going to be working with them on a regular basis, you want to try to get one of these, is one, is pretty, very, very pretty, and two, is that it's specifically weighted to do the particular work that you needed to do. So just it's a little bit more user-friendly, if you will. Now, this one that I have, it's very fancy. If you notice that, like as I turn it, the colors are a little bit different. This one, unfortunately, I don't have any more of these in the store right now. They went really quick when I had them. But I do have a lot of other multicolored ones. This one in particular is called a peacock ore, or a calcipyrite. And it also has, of course, chakra witch, got to have my chakra beads on the end. Now, a lot of people, when they work with pendulums, they have a tendency to hold it at the end like that. And honestly, the thing is that when you work with a pendulum, it's an extension of you. So having it so far away from your arm and so far away, making an extra long extension will give you less control over it. So what I like to do is I like to take the bead at the end and use that to kind of keep it from sliding out of my hand, and then just drape it over like that. And then I have much more, it's much more of a solid unit, if you will. Okay. A lot of people do like to put their hand underneath. I found that it's the same whether you do it or without. As I tend not to, but that's just a personal choice. Okay, if you're used to doing that, by all means, because this is really about the pendulum itself is not giving you the information. All it's doing is reading the way your body responds to what you're asking, because you are getting all this information flowing through your body. So it's going to come in through you, flow out, and then it will show through the pendulum. So this is basically a way of kind of taking your mind out of the equation, because then you can just look the way this thing is swinging and let that do the talk. See, so that's why we tend to use them. So you can, like I was saying, use it as divination. You can use it for healing work. All right, that's the way I tend to use that. I like to use it to diagnose my chakras. I do a lot of readings with that, and I also tend to do chakra balancings with this. This is something I'm thinking of. I actually, for once, have some free time over the weekend, so I will be open for possibly doing some chakra balancing readings this weekend. So if anybody does feel like coming into the shop this weekend, would like to book one with me, I'll be available. Okay, but let's get back to what we for. So you can use it for healing. If you are a key master, you got to remember that when this swings a certain way, that's going to be one of the healing symbols, the chakra ray. So you can use it for that. You can also use it to charge or to release energy. Okay, so there's so many different ways. And the way I first came to work with a pendulum years and years ago was I actually used it to help me find out what foods I had an intolerance to. And what I would do is I would take a food and I would hold it in my hand, and I would ask it, I'd hold the food in my hand, and then I would ask the pendulum to show me, is this good for me or not? And my yes on a pendulum swings back and forth like I'm nodding my head. So I would hold it in my hand and say, is this beneficial for me at this time? Is something that's good for me? And if it showed me a yes, then I would know that one was good. If it showed me a no, I'd pass on it at the time. Now, of course, I made sure, I did go and get medic diagnosed, but that gave me some guidelines, just, let's try this, perhaps this, perhaps this. Well, what was very interesting is that I went for the diagnosis after I had kind of come to terms with certain foods that I felt like my body wasn't responding well to, according to the pendulum. Well, it ended up the pendulum was 100% on, because when I found out, what I was intolerant to, that it had responded true every single time. Okay. Now, I never like to say that anything is a replacement for proper medical care. However, I do think that it's very important for us to get involved in our own health, in our own well-being, in our own spirituality. It's a way of stepping up and taking more personal responsibility and not leaving everything up to somebody outside of yourself. Okay, so moving on. What I would like to work with this is something that I do on a regular basis, is I also use it to charge, I'll use it to charge crystals. I'll use it to charge my food sometimes if I happen to have one on me, particularly if I have a necklace on. But one thing I do on a regular basis is I like to energetically charge the water that I drink. Because, well, first off, we are 80% water. Also, sometimes it can be hard to drink a lot of water, and I've found that when I charge it energetically with a pendulum, it makes it easier to drink. Also, pendulums, of course, are used, dowsing, all of this used to find where water is. So this is something that's very close to the water element. It strengthens it, and of course, water is the healing element as well. So I'm going to explain to you how I would charge my water, and also how I eventually came up with a type of crystal water healing reading that I do with the pendulum. Okay, so now I'm going to hold up my half-drank bottle of Poland Spring because that's all I have nearby. I'm sorry, I should have prepped for this a little bit better and had this really fancy glass to hold up, but hey, okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a sip because I want to see what it tastes like now before I actually cleanse it. Yeah, it's all right. So the thing whenever you're working with energy, okay, is that everything already has a certain charge to it. Like when you pick up a crystal or something, it already has a certain energetic charge. So being as, water, well, this one's in a plastic bottle. Okay, so that's something already. You know that, where it comes from, the mass production, things like that. It's not necessarily the highest vibrational water that I can drink. So if I go and I try to charge this, it's not really where I want it to be. All I'm going to do is magnify the energy that's already in it. So really what I need to do before I charge it, okay, is to render it neutral. Meaning that I want to take out what's in there that I don't like and put in what I do like. Okay. Same thing with any crystal. And that's why whenever anybody gets a crystal from our shop, we tend to put some lavender in with it if that's okay with the person who's buying it. Not everybody likes lavender, but I like to put in something like that to cleanse the crystal so that way when you take it out of the bag, when you get it home, the energy is rendered neutral because it's out. A lot of people are looking at them, touching them. I want to make sure that your crystal is clean and then you can set whatever intention you like right from the beginning. Same thing with water. So what I do is, in order to pull anything out, or to release energy that you don't want, you follow the universal rule of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Okay, so if you want to take something out, if you want to remove or take like a lid off of a jar, you're going to go to the left. So you want to get this pendulum to circle to the left to pull out the energy and render it neutral. And you want to do that before you put anything in it. So right from here, I get my little trusty pendulum ready. And then I'm just going to focus on asking it to go in a clockwise manner. And then I'm just going to get it around and just like that, okay? I mean counterclockwise, as you can see. Okay, so, and we're just pulling the energy out, rendering it neutral. And I'm just going to allow that to go until it dies down. And being as there's not that much water in the glass, you can see that's already kind of slowing down. There we go. Okay, so right now it's neutral. Okay. But now I want to put some positive healing energy into it. So the first thing I like to do is I just like to focus on, okay, what type of energy do I think I need right now? And I start to think, and I'm just going to check into my chakras and stuff like that. And I'm really feeling some nice grounding right now. It's like a nice, deep, warming red. Nice, comfortable, rooting physicality. Just bringing kind of a nice life force into this water. So I'm going to focus on red. And now I'm going to get the pendulum to go clockwise, putting in that energy, which I want, into this water. Okay. So now it's going clockwise. And we're going to let that go for a little, and you can see it's really wanting to go. So then I just continue to focus on that nice red rooted color, putting it into my water and letting that go as long as it needs to go. And it'll slow down. I can already feel it slowing down because the bottle's almost empty anyway. There's not much water. So we're good. I just kind of take a nice deep breath. And now I have my red energized water, which always does taste different. Even if it's psychosomatic, it doesn't matter. The experience is different. So that's something you can do on a regular basis. It gets you a little bit more connected to what you're taking into your body. It's a way of stepping up and just getting your healing juices flowing. okay? Because we can do it together and everything, but this is a practice you can adopt occasionally. Maybe there's a day a week or something like that. You know, if you drink some, it'll make you drink some more water. Also, it will make you work with energy outside of these videos. Okay, I want you to do some stuff on your own and find some ways. You know, you're blessing that water, so you're making it, you're kind of turning it into, if you will, a sacred type of water that you can take in, and it'll raise your energy levels. So look at it that way, almost you're making a healing elixir. Now, the other thing that I tend to do is if I do this for somebody else, I cleanse the water for them. What I like to do is I like to check their chakras, and then I'll find out which one is out of balance, and then I'll find a crystal that coordinates with that, that's safe to put in water, and I'll put it in the water, and then I'll charge the water with the crystal in it, and then I'll have them drink that water. So then it becomes a healing crystal elixir. That's actually one of my favorite readings to do. I've been doing it for a long time. The crystals that come up the most that I would recommend, if this is something you'd like to try on your own, is rose quartz is always good because that's for self-love, you know, forgiveness, and just kind of giving that gift of opening your heart to yourself and being kinder to yourself and healing your heart. And also citrine is very good because citrine really feeds the solar plexus, which is all about self-esteem and confidence and willpower and boundaries. And that's always something that I notice a lot of people need some a little bit of help with, and it's just something, it's not a deficiency on anybody's part by any manner, shape, or form. It's usually just something that it's the way we're socialized, and we're taught that to do things for ourselves is to be selfish, so we always put ourselves on the back burner, and then we get thrown out of balance. So those are the two that I recommend without getting a full diagnosis or something like that. I always say that those two do a lot of help. And of course, clear crystals like clear quartz, the master crystal. You put that in, that can be for anything. You can charge that for whatever type of energy you want, drop that in there, and then just drinking that clear quartz healing water elixir will give you a lot of energetic benefit. So I thank you for joining us tonight. A couple other things I'd like to talk about before you get going, okay, is next week we have a lot of classes starting. Also on Sunday, we have our sound bath. There are still, it's virtual sound bath. It's online. You can enjoy that from the comfort of your own home. If you do visit our website at mylightclub.com, you can register right on there. Okay. And that will be at 7 o'clock on Sunday. And it's okay if you can't make that time because it is recorded. So if you do decide to register and watch the video at a later time, that is always an option for you. Or you watch it, you know, you do it live and then you watch it again. So that's an option on Sunday at 7 o'clock. Also, I have on Wednesday, okay, we will not be doing our distance healing live because we will be doing a class on alchemy and the law of attraction. I will be doing that class with my husband, who is really dedicated a great deal of his life to the study of the law of attraction. It's kind of his thing. So that's really a very mind-bending and life-changing course. I'm really excited to be doing this. We haven't done it in a long time. I think it's been 2 years since the last time we taught that class, and it's always an amazing ride. So again, that is also on our website, mylightclub.com. We may even have, I believe there's an event page that you can go to, and it'll take you to the registration link as well. And then, of course, we have on Thursday, we have the first of the Wild Goddess class series is restarting again for this year. So the first class will be on Thursday at 7 o'clock. Registration is open for that as well. That is basically a women's empowerment course, show you how to embrace the goddess and bring forth the goddess within yourself. So I'm just excited that all these classes are coming out again for the new year and bringing as much light as we can into 2021 because it's very necessary. You know, if you think that the world is dark, well, you just shine brighter and you make your corner of it a wonderful place to be. So just keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, blessed be.